So here's the thing. Yes, you are going to be great. You are going to walk into your destiny. You are going to use your talents and God given gifts that He gave you. You are going to be thrusted into your promised land. But there is a time period that you're going to go through first before you even get there. It's a prerequisite before you start walking in your talents and gifts, before it takes off for all the world to show. And it is called the waiting season. The waiting, you can't run from, don't run from it. Don't run from it. You have to go through it. It is a requirement before you get to the promised land. You know, God don't talk in details. You're gonna go through this waiting season, and man, like you can't, some of us watching, you're in the waiting season, or you're leaving the waiting season, you have left the waiting season, or you're about to go in the waiting season. Now things get a little crazy now. Things get it don't be scared, don't be alarmed. It's normal. He gonna be with you through the whole process, but this is something that you have to do. This is a development for you, right? It's almost like, I'm a big Marvel hero super fan. So it's almost like when you watch those superhero movies and you see the scientist or the doctor over them, right? And they're putting things into the superhero and they're taking things out because they're making them perfect to withstand the challenges that they're going through. It's kind of like almost like the waiting season is, right? And if you notice, like with superheroes, they're by themselves. Like nobody is almost like them. Like very few, they're able to find other superheroes sometimes that's like them, right? So that's kind of like you in the waiting season, God making a superhero out of you. Well, not really, but the waiting season is a development stage. It's a process stage that you go through. He doesn't just give you everything that He tells you, and He doesn't just give you everything in detail. There's a process that you're going to go through. Why? Because there are some things that you learn in the waiting season that if you don't go this route, you ain't never going to learn it, and you ain't never going to get to where you need to be. So you got a choice, but He didn't make you to live how you live in average. You know, He put gifts and things inside of you. Well, gifts, callings, and talents inside of you that's what you're really supposed to be doing. But in order to do it His way, yeah, you got to go through a process. But one of the things that I learned in the waiting season, you develop skills that you would have never thought that you develop. You get stronger, you get bolder, your relationship with Him increases. Well, your relationship with Him increases because, first of all, you're probably not gonna have too many friends around that's gonna understand what you're going through. So you're gonna tell Him everything. I mean, He already knows everything. Ain't no surprise to Him. He already knows what you're thinking anyway. But you're gonna be more vulnerable with Him, and that develops the boldness that you could be like, you know what, God, after speaking to you, I think I could do this. I think I could try this again. I think I could develop this skill, right? And then you also develop a faith. No matter what happens, even if you fail, even if you get rejected, right? You have faith that, you know what? Because I talk to Him every day, because He confirmed it to me every day, I know that this is going to happen. I know that you're going to make a way, that you're going to open up doors for me, right? And then also you get healing, right? When I was in the waiting season, I had to go through therapy, right? There were some things that happened to me, back to elementary school, I found out. But I'm walking around here, you know, in my 20s and my 30s thinking that, almost 40, almost, you know, thinking that I'm normal. You know, I could function. I don't have, you know, nothing's wrong with me mentally. I'm fine. Nothing ever traumatic ever happened to me before. Well, guess what? Hurt sometimes could be trauma, especially as a child. So there was some things that I was exposed to as a kid that affected me all the way up into my adult life. And because I didn't properly heal from that, I had to learn forgiveness. I had to learn walking in love. I had to learn about myself that, yes, I was a Christian, but I was thinking like an atheist. What? You learn this type of stuff in the waiting period, right? And then there's also your character is developed. I ain't talking about your personality. I ain't talking about you being funny, but your character is being developed in how God sees you, your integrity, your You start to love what he loves and you start to hate what he hates, right? Your morale is being built up, right? All of these stuff, you're getting all of these things in the waiting season. Don't run from the waiting season. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable at times. Yes, it's going to be frustrating at times. And yes, you're going to be impatient at times because he don't give no detail. He don't even tell you when you're leaving. Some people don't even know they in there. Things just start going crazy. They don't even know. But you have to stay in the waiting season, because on the other side, that's when that big old door is opening up. On the other side, that's when that Red Sea is parting and you going into the promised land. So don't worry about the way. God's not punishing you like what I thought for a long time. I thought he was punishing me. I went back doing what I do. I went back to being outside, not knowing that it just make you stay in the wilderness longer because you need to learn some things. Story for another day. But don't run from it. And it's funny because you hear about the wilderness, but not really. That is one of those things that you get when you talk to God one-on-one, right? You hear it in church, but you really don't know what it is. You don't hear a lot of people talk about like, hey girl, I just came out the wilderness. I just came out my waiting season. No, it's something that it's a process that you and God has. And he does all of that to get you into alignment to where he is taking you, because he wants you to get there. You're going to get there. Don't let it scare you. Don't leave. Don't turn, but don't forfeit. Be like, God, I ain't doing this no more. I don't want to be. No. You have to go through this process. It's okay. You're going to have your sad days and you're going to have your happy days, but it's going to be all good. It's going to be all good. You're going to be able to talk about it. You're going to be able to walk in it. And guess what? Those that's in the waiting season, you're going to be able to pull them out of it too by prayer. You're going to be able to pray for them. You're going to be able to encourage them, because we need each other. God ain't make us out here to be no island. This is why they got testimony service. This is why people talk about what they're going through to help you. It could touch somebody. You don't know who's it touching, right? So don't run away from this waiting season. Don't run away from this wilderness where things are being cut. God is cutting in the private areas. It hurt. It don't feel good. Some people will leave. Some people will come. You may have some people that will come in for those that left. And you're going to develop a lot of new things in this period. And you're going to take the long way, right? You're going to take the road less traveled. You're taking the road less traveled because this is God's way. You do it his way. Whatever you step into, whatever that destiny is, you're going to be there forever. That's going to be something that, imagine you doing something. Imagine you having a business. Imagine you having a skill. Imagine you having a gift. And it's going to be here forever, because God is backing you. You ain't got, that's the only sponsor you got. That's the only endorsement you got, is that God is backing you. Who else do you need if God is backing me? So don't run from this. Don't run from this waiting season. It's going to be days that it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to be some days I'm happy I did it.